Hey market watchers, it's Will of the Market, and today we're talking Enphase Energy, ENPH. What they do, how they measure up against rivals, the latest price action, and where investor sentiment is headed. If you want a clear picture of whether ENPH is lights out or about to shine, this one's for you. 1. What Enphase Energy actually does. Let's keep this simple. Enphase designs, manufactures, and sells solar microinverters, home battery storage, monitoring, control software, and EV charging solutions. Microinverters are little devices behind each solar panel that convert DC right-pointing arrow AC. That's what powers your home or feeds into the grid. They also provide energy storage batteries, networking and monitoring, enlightened software, gateways, routers for energy flow, and home power backup, EV charger infrastructure. Their customer base is residential heavy, homeowners, installers, distributors, OEMs. Global reach. ENPH serves many countries, strong in North America but also international exposure. So Enphase isn't just selling hardware. They're bundling software, energy storage, monitoring and power flow control. Think of them like a tech and services platform in solar plus storage, not just solar panel parts. 2. Peers and competitive landscape. Who are their rivals or comparable companies, and how do they stack up? Solar Edge Technologies makes string inverters plus power optimizers, strong in residential and commercial solar, broad international distribution. Enphase's microinverters have benefits: panel-level optimization. Each panel works independently, better shading handling, reliability. Enphase also has stronger software integration. Sunrun Run installs solar plus battery systems for homeowners. More installation plus leasing, PPA business. Enphase is more hardware plus component plus software focused, while Sunrun is more of an installer plus system integrator. That means different risk profiles. First, solar, FSLR, solar modules, large-scale, utility solar projects. Less focus, relative to ENPH, on microinverter plus home battery plus software. Enphase is more last mile, more granular, and more tech, software heavy in solar plus storage, which can offer higher margins as scaling works. Weaknesses versus peers. Enphase is more vulnerable to policy changes, tariffs, especially where they source components, supply chain disruptions, and demand swings in residential solar. Also, margins can get squeezed if tariffs or input costs rise. 3. Recent price action and what investors are watching. Here's where things get interesting, or rough, depending on perspective. Stock drop and volatility. ENPH is down heavily from its highs, 52-week range. Somewhere tilde $29.89 at low to tilde $118 plus at high. Recently trading around $38 minus 40 as of latest data. Earnings miss and tariff headwinds. The Q1 2025 results fell short on revenue and EPS versus analysts' expectations. Tariffs on battery cell packs sourced from China are expected to reduce margins by 2% in Q2. Increasing to tilde 6-8% in Q3 once current inventories are used up. Restructuring. ENPH laid off approximately 17% of its workforce, consolidated manufacturing, ended operations in Mexico to cut costs, to respond to slowing demand and competitive pressure. Short interest and sentiment. Short interest is fairly high, about 20.37% of float is shorted. But there's been recent decrease in short interest, approximately 14.7% down, which suggests sentiment may be thawing somewhat. Also, trading volume spiked. There are days where volume is up 200+% over normal, though without big price moves, suggesting institutional or algorithmic activity, but maybe not strong conviction yet. 4. Investor sentiment and forecasts. What are analysts and investors saying? Analyst ratings are mixed. Some buys, many holds, and some sells. Consensus target tilde $40, tilde 4-5% upside from current price, but with wide range. Some very optimistic, higher, and some cautious, lower. Key things investor sentiment is watching: how tariffs play out, how margin squeezes are handled, whether demand in U.S. residential solar rebounds, How well new products, battery, EV charger, software upgrades, perform in top line and margin. The removal of ENPH from the S&P 500, or risk of such index exclusions, can hurt via forced passive fund selling. That can amplify downside temporarily. There are some reports about this effect. 5. What could go right? What could go wrong? Let's hit this, the good, the bad, and the potential, moment. Like Back to the Future when you decide whether to jump in that DeLorean. Checkmark possible upside. New product launches, next-gen microinverters, EV charger, battery storage, could drive growth if demand rises. Policy incentives, tax credits for solar plus storage, clean energy push in US, Europe could help. Margin recovery if ENPH can localize supply, reduce import tariff exposure. Reduced short interest plus improving sentiment might trigger some rebound if investors see signs of stabilization. Warning: big risks. Tariffs, supply chain disruptions hurting margins. The Q3 margin hit projections are non-trivial. Sluggish demand. If homeowners delay solar installs, due to interest rates, power prices, regulatory changes, ENPH revenues take a hit. Competition getting tighter. SolarEdge, Tesla, others pushing. Regulatory risk. Tax credit changes, incentive reductions or policy shifts. 6. Bottom line. Here's where I stand. If ENPH was a movie, it's going through its dark middle. Obstacles everywhere, challenge to prove itself. But there's still a chance for heroes return. I believe ENPH could be a recovery play, not something to buy expecting instant upside, but more something for someone willing to hold through policy wins, product progress, and margin pressure. If I were you, I wouldn't buy heavily right now without seeing stabilization, maybe enter small, set tight risk controls. Watch margin metrics, tariff news, demand trends, especially residential solar in key states. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and subscribe for more clean, no fluff market analysis. Want a deep dive next time? ENPH versus SolarEdge versus First Solar, comparing margins, valuation multiples, and product roadmaps. Let me know in comments. Until next trade, may the market be ever in your favor.